Good evening, everyone. Welcome. What a wonderful crowd and what illustrious people we have here with us today. It's so great to see everyone. So, where is the woman of the moment? There she is, Lisa. There she is. Woo! All right. So, well, maybe you should sit right here for now, and then we'll see. So, Lisa, we are all here today. Look at everyone in this room here. And we are here to let you know how very grateful we are for all that you've done for the town of Newcastle. We want to express our very deep appreciation to you, Lisa, for your steadfastness, your dedication, and your tireless efforts throughout 10 years. That's a long time, a whole decade. 8 years as a council person and 2 as town supervisor. So as many of us know, public service is not easy. There's so many decisions you've had to make and sure to upset a number of people. We all know how that feels. But we've all seen you navigate so many challenges placed before you with resilience and determination. You have the capacity to stand so strong when the going gets tough. And your energy and your enthusiasm really shines through in all that you do. And so I think that's a real inspiration for us to move forward with. I'm really glad to have worked with you to move our community forward. So 2 years ago, 4 of us came together from very different walks of life in town. And I think that together we did something really incredible. There were 4 of us who didn't know each other very well, and remarkably, the 4 of us really changed a lot from beginning to end. We were 4 people, and then all of a sudden we were completely different 3 people, except for you, Lisa. You were the constant in all of this. And at times it was disconcerting, sometimes it was funny, but ultimately I think that the way the people came and went was irrelevant because I think regardless of who it was, we were successful because of the strength of the ideas that we unanimously proclaimed. It was the ideas of inclusiveness and valuing our residents. And so we were true to that, and we can look back on our work together and be very proud. So I will miss the sometimes very fiery debates that we've had, some very heated discussions we've had, and we have disagreed a number of times, but I think ultimately that made us better and stronger. And I have to say, no one will take your place there. And I know that I'll be sitting there in the future thinking that things are a little boring and less colorful than they were. And I think I mean that figuratively, but also literally, because all the pink. You're not wearing pink today, but really it's been really colorful. But as you move on to bigger and better things, I know that with your passion and your goodwill for our town that you'll be doing great things for us still. So a big and heartfelt thank you, Lisa, and congratulations for all your accomplishments for the last 10 years.
So I actually did not prepare anything in writing, but I think it's safe to say that public service is a difficult thing, and Lisa has done it for 10 years. And she, whether I've agreed with her or not, whether she's been the sister that I fought with that I never had or not, at the end of the day, her heart is in the right place, her passion is in the right place, her drive is in the right place. And I've said many times that we're all kind of interchangeable, meaning someone in 2 years are going to take our place, and there's going to be someone 2 years after that, and we're going to come and go. But while you're here, you have to make the most of your time. And I wouldn't want to pigeonhole you into anything specific, but the chat pack is something that you and then board when you started back with Rob and I think we have one of your other folks here, Adam somewhere, made a really smart move but difficult move, and we ultimately accepted the chat pack. And there's a lot that we don't know what's going to happen with it, but if you don't have the foresight and the energy and the vision to make something happen, as opposed to just letting everything remain stagnant, then you don't belong up here. So you take a chance, you roll the dice, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Lisa, I think hopefully this does continue to work. I am grateful for our time that we spent together working in town. You will be missed, you have been an asset, and I'm confident that your voice is not gone. So thank you very much, Lisa.
Lisa and everyone. So most of you know that public service is not for the faint of heart or for the unmotivated, the thin-skinned, or the passive. To do the job well, it takes dedication, selflessness, time, more than a few late nights. And over the past decade, Lisa, you have absolutely proven yourself to be a fierce advocate for Newcastle and its residents, a strong promoter of the arts, like Jeremy mentioned with the Chat Pack, and a leader when it came to supporting our merchants and commerce in town. I thank you so much for your service. The town is certainly better for it.
Here's the thing about Lisa. She makes this all look easy, even when it's not. She has managed to balance her marriage, motherhood, family obligations, a law practice, and a 10-year commitment to the community with style and grace. I know few others who would be able to do it all the way she has. And for those that think they can, I dare you to try. She's at every meeting, always the most prepared. She shows up to every event and ribbon cutting with a smile on her face, because everything she does comes from a place of loving this community so much and only ever wanting what's best for it. Thank you, Lisa, for your service to this town. But on a personal note, thank you for being so supportive of me. You inspired me to run for the town board this year when I doubted myself, and you've given me the confidence to put myself out there and to stand up for what I know is right. Your encouragement, enthusiasm, and guidance have meant the world to me, and I am lucky to call you a friend. I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors, but I know that you're only a phone call away should any of us ever need you. On behalf of the town of Newcastle, in recognition and gratitude to Lisa Katz, Newcastle Town Supervisor from 2022 to 2023, Newcastle Town Board Member from 2014 to 2021, we thank you for your decade of selfless service to the betterment of the town of Newcastle, your continuing advocacy for arts and culture throughout the town, your commitment to critical infrastructure improvements and public safety. Our community is richer and safer for your contributions. With incredible appreciation and heartfelt thanks, your fellow board members, colleagues, and friends, been stated today.
You should probably just stand here because we're gonna do a bunch of.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
I forgot to talk about the shoes.
Oh.
No one's gonna repeat
So
you.
Lisa, not at the mic, but we have a few gifts. I just want to finish the town portion.
right.
So we have a few gifts for you from the town with your plaque. This is the traditional quilt, don't pay attention to the label on the back. No, it's not that, it's not that.
She took
And
the
this
price
is
off.
for relaxation and this is for fun.
Oh,
So you take that away,
thank
don't open
you.
it yet, and
thank you.
alright.
We have the dot in the county, go on, or we have more?
Yeah, well, just a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Can I give you a hug?
And we have our illustrious President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton, and I'd like to ask them, both or either one, to come up and say a few words since they have graced us with their presence today.
Well, both of us are delighted to join all of you here in both celebrating and thanking Lisa for her decade of service to Newcastle. We love living here, and part of the reason that we do is the people who live here and the leadership that we have seen over so many years now. And so, Lisa, thank you. Thank you for committing yourself to public service. You've already heard from everyone else who's spoken, public service is not easy. Well, we can certainly agree with that. So we're kind of here as Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Not easy, and people who willingly do it deserve our gratitude because we've got to keep our democracy going from the local level all the way to the top, and we can't do it if we don't have good people willing to serve. And even when good people disagree, that's part of the whole process, and to come to some understanding, some compromise to be able to move forward. So we wanted to come just to thank you for serving this community for so many years. Now here's Exhibit B.
Yeah, we didn't bring our Purple Hearts tonight. I can be quite brief. I like Lisa. I think she's done a good job. I'm grateful for her service. And I think we're better because she gave it. The larger point is on display in virtually every community in America and every country in the world. We are living in a time when more and more people get whatever they call news in bite-sized amounts, real fast, from sources that may or may not be accurate. As a result of which, it is really easy to put us all in a defensive, untrusting, angry frame of mind, in which we believe that what really matters is our differences. Or as the old saying goes, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So what I want to say is this. All over the world, we see that if you can get people to agree on a common end and then work from where they are toward that end together, 70% of the time, agreements are produced. And that's a pretty good record. If all that matters is our differences, we can't get there. And that is the fundamental problem with public units all over the world today. People would rather tear the barn down than build it up. It's so much easier. It's emotionally satisfying. And it's like food that you're hungry again after you eat it in 15 minutes. You're hungry. So I think Lisa was a workhorse in the best sense. And she worked hard. She made it look easier than it was. And she really did a good job. And I'm grateful. And we need more of that from both parties and all spectrums. Thank you.
Sure. Will you take it, darling?
Darling daughter.
Let's take it order.
Yeah.
Enlist the family.
Sure. Or
Hi, how are you?
I get in the middle.
Yeah, you get in the middle. Okay.
Oh,
Wait, can you get us in with this thing? Here, let's go this way.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll take a bite. Thank you.
Right this way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
I'll give you this. Okay, there you are.
And I'd like to introduce our Assemblyman Chris Burdick.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. You know, when I first came into the state assembly, which was in 2021, to represent Newcastle, I immediately contacted Lisa because I knew I would be doing a lot with Lisa and with Newcastle. And you know, we almost immediately had to get into the trenches in dealing with a terrible plan that came, unfortunately, from our governor regarding housing. You remember all that, the housing compact? I think a lot of people know that, but I mention this because it shows the spectacular leadership that Lisa exhibited during that. She was one of the strongest voices in Westchester County with the Westchester Municipal Officials Association, and also getting the community to understand what was going on, to say, you know what, this is going to really have an adverse impact if it goes through the way it is. That it would just upend local zoning, take away so much local control. And she put her finger on it, and she made it absolutely clear, and she helped rally all of Westchester County on that, part of the collaborative effort. And we were fortunate that thanks to Lisa and other local leaders like her, we were able to turn that aside. And then we did the same thing again this year with an absolutely unified town board that she brought together to say, this is what we need to do. And I mention this because it shows her leadership, shows her resolve, shows her perseverance and persistence, and shows her deep understanding of her own community. And that's the way she has led for the 10 years that she has dedicated herself, and with a loving family who gave her the room to do that. So thank you for allowing her to serve the community. So I have a proclamation that comes from myself, but also all of those in the New York State Assembly that I would like to present to you. I do about 3 of these a year, and that's it. And that's for folks like Lisa, because of the tremendous work that you do. Thank you, Lisa, for everything that you have done, not only for Newcastle, but for all of Westchester County. Oh, sure.
Just need a picture. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you.
There's more.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
That's mine here. Well, I'm thankful to Assemblyman Burdick for speaking, so I didn't have to speak right after the Secretary and the President. That's Lisa, you've been amazing, and I think it's no, it's not combat, but it is service. This public service comes with its challenges to yourself, challenges to your family. To be able to do that and come out of it after a decade on your own terms, I think is commendable and impressive. Doing better than Jeremy, who prepared no written remarks. I prepared some written remarks, and we put it in a frame. So we'll get to it. And in honor of your decade of service, I, as chairman of the Board of Legislators, on behalf of myself and the entire Board of Legislators, would like to congratulate you. And I will read the part that this proclamation, December 13th, 2023, be proclaimed Lisa Katz Day in Westchester. And that the text of this proclamation will be carried throughout the county for all people of goodwill to forever know, and more importantly, on the Jumbotron in front of the Westchester County Center, it's going to proclaim Lisa Katz Day. So congratulations. You'll have to go for a picture separately. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you. Wait, let's get a picture too.
Oh, sure.
I'm a photographer.
Well, I did.
Where did
Do
it
you
say?
want to do the
That you and Chris before, but I didn't.
proclamation?
Oh.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
I evidently have the honor to read or give you Senator Harkin's proclamation. He was unable to be here. I don't know if I need to go through the whole thing, but the principle is the same thing, which is your dedication and your time here. It does go into some your college and schooling and a lot of other things, but I will read one section because I think it is important. Whereas in 2014, Ms. Katz was elected to the Newcastle Town Board, where she oversaw the completion of the $16 million downtown infrastructure project. She also raised the paving budget from $200,000 to $1.4 million to improve the condition of local roadways. She was elected supervisor of the town of Newcastle in 2021, where she was instrumental in saving what is now known as the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center from demolition. So on behalf of Peter Harcum, thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay.
So I think that concludes all of the official people who want to speak, but is there anyone in the audience who would like to say a few words? There we go, come on.
This is a very tough act to follow. My name's Warren Gottlieb, and it's a privilege to speak this evening honoring our town supervisor, Lisa Katz, and recognizing her 10 years of service to this town. And if you really want to understand what Lisa has meant to this town, you really have to understand what was happening in town in 2013 and what the mood was. There was a sense, and we have some distance from it so I can talk about it, that maybe elected officials weren't listening as closely as they should to residents, and maybe they were just taking them a little bit for granted. And so Lisa was one of three very courageous people who was standing on the other side of the microphone, and she, along with Rob Greenstein and Adam Brodsky, a part of the original Team Newcastle, they stood up for the community, and they answered the call. And they said, you know what? We think we can make this better. And they did. Adam, who's here, he did it for 4 years, Rob for 6. And Lisa for 10. Outlasting them all. And there's a reason why Lisa was there for 10. Because she led with kindness, a big heart, and humanity. She treated everybody with respect, even when they were pummeling her on Facebook, on the street, in town hall. Everybody, it was always with respect. I didn't agree with Lisa 100% of the time. I was in that 70, probably 90%, okay? But I never for 1 second doubted that she was serving for the right reasons and that her undivided loyalty was with the people of Newcastle. She demonstrated this time and time again. And that undivided loyalty freed her up. It let her, she wasn't restrained by partisan politics. If you were doing the right thing by Newcastle, she stood with you. She stood by Democrats. She stood by independents. She stood by Republicans. All if you were doing right by those who she represented. She put people in our community above partisanship. She bridged a lot of very large gaps in town, and she showed us that despite all the noise that we're talking about in our daily lives, she bridged that gap for 10 years in this environment, showing that no matter what you're seeing on your phone, on TV, and reading in the paper, that 70%, it's there. Just open your eyes and be a human being to your fellow neighbors. Lisa also showed a great capacity for changing her mind when it was necessary. She was fine with being wrong, and if she had to take a cut at something 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 times, she was always able to do that. She worked with other people. She also knew which battles were worth fighting. And when those battles came, there was no better advocate for our community. Whether she was in the minority or the majority, she stood up for people. And I could go on and on and on of all the actual things that she accomplished. But I will tell you what the lasting one is. Lisa showed that when local government listens to its citizens, rather than succumbing to partisanship, it becomes a beacon of accountability. It fosters trust and collaboration for the better of the community. That's what the 70% wants. So that lesson is a big legacy. It's an enduring gift to our community, and a valuable lesson to all who follow. Those who may answer the call one day who are on the other side of the podium, and equally those important to all of those who are now preparing to take the mantle of leadership. Lisa, thank you for a decade of selfless service. And a special thank you to your family for all of their sacrifices in supporting you on this remarkable journey. There is an ocean of gratitude from one end of Newcastle to the other for all of you. May the echoes of your leadership resonate through the streets and corridors of this Newcastle and our history for years to come.
Should we ask for?
Michelle. Anybody else?
Michelle, Adam,
Oh,
Rob.
So let's let Adam speak because he served with Lisa, so should have had you first, Adam.
Hi everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Adam Brodsky. I was the most minor of the three members of Team Newcastle. I was the guy who just put out the banners at the train station at 6 in the morning and all that. So, Lisa, I don't even know where to start. I witnessed firsthand your devotion and tenacity to move this community into the future. You worked tirelessly all hours, 7 days a week to create a vision and foundation for the continued success of Newcastle. The definition of warmth, engagement, always willing to give a hug. You literally and figuratively embraced this town over your 10 years of service. You are the definition of the community's cheerleader. The list is vast and never ending, but I want to take a stab at some of the highlights that your hard work brought to fruition. Our appetizer into the world of politics 10 years ago that people don't remember, but there was a huge groundswell of opposition and anger concerning from many different residents in town, including neighbors. Meetings that went past midnight regarding the Chappaqua Crossing development at Reader's Digest. Many residents who were legitimately concerned about their house prices and traffic. You somehow figured out a way to break the logjam, and in the process, you got many amenities for the town, including but not limited to the Chat Pack. This project has been, by most accounts, a success, but by no means was the end result a certainty during the initial weeks and months of your service. Speaking of Chat Pack, your love of the arts and Broadway shows incentivized you to bring the arts to Newcastle. You spearheaded, along with the fellow community members, brought this amazing amenity to life. The list of your accomplishments is almost endless, and there's one reason it is endless. I witnessed firsthand your open-mindedness to pursue any reasonable idea that was presented to you if you thought it would make your home a better place. I saw time after time residents who approached you with an idea or concern, and your response was, yes, we can fix that problem, or yes, let's embrace that idea and start a committee to work on it. To think this journey started maybe 10 years ago, it truly shows that when a person stands up to make a change and goes for it, they leave with the world a better place. Without a doubt, you are now leaving Newcastle a vastly improved place. It is completely different from when you started this journey more than 10 years ago, and that is the most important legacy of all.
Hello, friend. I did not prepare any notes, but I am indebted to this woman because of Chapac. I'm Michelle Gregson, and I'm the chair of Friends of Chapac. I want to thank you for coming to Chapac in the spring, which was great. But I met Lisa, I think 2 years into your being on the town board, when you said you wanted to have a culture and art kind of commission or committee. And the people who stuck around for that, it was 8 o'clock in the morning, we would have our meetings every other week for 2 years. And we're all really close friends now, just super close friends. Tracy Stein and I, once we got the approval to be able to say that Chapac didn't have anything that we should be concerned about, jumped off and formed our nonprofit, which is just fabulous. Frank's here, there's a whole bunch of people here, but you were the driving force of Chapac. And then we were off to a great start and then COVID hit. That was great. So it was closed for 2 years. So we had to rethink what we were doing and move ahead. And I have to say, with the board also standing here, it's become a huge success. And I am incredibly grateful to this woman, and also hoping you will join our board, because you know a few people in town, I've heard. And you can help us with fundraising and a bunch of other things, because you're not done yet. I met you as a person on the town board, and I'm happy to call you a good friend. So congratulations for everything, and I feel incredibly blessed that you and I, our paths crossed here in town.
Just quick and to the point and from the heart, no notes. First of all, Madam Secretary, Mr. President, it's so wonderful to see you come out and honor Lisa. Assemblyman Burdick showed off and spoke without the microphone, and I just want you to know I can go all the way up there and you'll hear me, but I'll use the microphone. I choose my friends very carefully. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I choose my friends very carefully. Lisa is my friend. I respect her to no end. Look around, walk through the town, talk to the people. Lisa made us better. There is no doubt about it. She met with some adversity, a lot of adversity. She handled it with charm, respect, as Warren said, grace, and a smile. So I know your legacy is going to continue. Your kindness that you showed will continue. I don't think you can help future administrations to continue that. You all spoke so beautifully about Lisa, and I think it's wonderful. And I believe that's going to continue, and I believe this community will continue to come together and work to foster the arts, as Lisa did with Chapac, and work to make the town better every day. So I just want to thank Lisa once again for her charm and her grace and her respect and her kindness. And I know that I will remember her smile every time I walk around and meet the people of this town.
Now I'm in trouble with this. I took like 15 minutes to write this, and people are coming up here. Okay. So I had the pleasure of meeting Lisa over a decade ago as part of a concerned group of residents during the Conifer and Chapac Crossing discussions. Over that time, first and foremost, I am grateful for your friendship. And I am thankful for your commitment to spending a decade in public service to help create a town that definitely, as people have said, finds itself in a much better place than it was when you first took office. And while you didn't do that alone, you were a huge part of it, and you got a lot of help with other people on the town boards, this one, and others that you served with. I have always felt that Lisa really understood the concept of serving as a local elected official. She did her best to represent all of her constituents, regardless of whatever background or political affiliation they came from. She focused on issues that I thought were important and that impacted the quality of life of the people who elected her to office 3 separate times, each in highly contested elections. Those were fun, weren't they? She took principled stands to speak out on issues, whether she was part of a town board majority or on her own. She found ways to work on a bipartisan basis with neighboring local, county, and state officials to advocate for our town. She's been a tireless and vocal advocate for responsible and effective development as she helped guide the town to the completion of 66 affordable housing units, the establishment of Chapac, as a lot of people have mentioned, the economic and structural revitalization of the Chapua Hamlet as part of the infrastructure and streetscape project, a massive increase in the town's paving efforts, somebody else got that, surprised, the completion of the town's update to its comprehensive plan for the first time I think in about 2 decades, and initiating a sea change in the beautification efforts throughout our town to increase funding and support for the efforts of the town's Beautification Advisory Board, who did a hell of a job over the past decade. She has passionately advocated for minimized environmental impact of the Westchester County Airport on Newcastle and its neighboring communities, worked closely with officials from other towns to protect local rights to regulate development, to match the needs and unique infrastructure of each town, and help Newcastle be a steady beacon of light in standing up against anti-Semitism. And she has always been a huge cheerleader for the success of our town. Always there with a, "Hi, I'm Lisa Katz live stream," urging residents to come out to the event of the day, shop local, and to be kind. I don't know if we live in a kinder world right now, but I do know that Lisa has never stopped trying to make one. And as you get ready to preside over your last meeting, I think you have a lot to be proud of. Thank you for helping smash the 3-minute time limit in speaking and everything that has come afterwards.
I'll keep this really brief, like my town board career. I'm Chris Hildenbrand, and I think other than Lisa's family, I may have the distinct pleasure of knowing you the longest. We've known each other since the fall of 1991 when we started at Fordham Law School. And I've lived in town for 25 years and never had a desire to get involved in town politics. Was happy to watch Lisa and her colleagues from afar. But in the summer of 21, when she asked me to join her in the Unite Newcastle ticket as a replacement, I thought, why not? If Lisa's asking, then it must be important. And I'm so glad that I did. Not as much for what we accomplished with Vicky, which I think was a great deal, but more because I got to work with you. On an almost daily basis, we spoke, just the two of us, so no open meetings law violations. And I got to watch your intelligence, your grace, your tenacity, your concern, your compassion for every issue and for every resident, and it was an inspiration. So as a 25-year resident and 32-year friend, I just want to thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim McCauley, and I think maybe I have you by about 15 years, but I've been here a long time. I've known Lisa. I was at the beginning with Lisa, Adam, and Rob, and voted in many, many elections over the years. And as probably all of us have had, we've had good experiences and bad experiences. You know, you vote for someone and you think they're going to do a good job, and they don't. In this case, Lisa's done a great job, and I've been involved in each of the elections, become friends, and especially as everyone else has covered all the other topics in town, all of the major ones, but also as a representative of the veterans community, I want to thank Lisa and the rest of the board for all they've done to respect us and to show thanks to us in the town, especially as this past year we have the posters up, the initials, and I really do appreciate all the work you've done, and as everyone else has said, with grace and charm. Thank you.
Come on.
I'll keep this brief. So many people have said such wonderful things, and thank you so much. I recollect it was 10 years ago. We'll say it was 10 years ago tonight, when you were the then incoming board member, and I was at this event that night, and I hadn't paid any, like many people who've spoken, I hadn't paid much attention to town politics. Didn't realize how much it really mattered. And then all of a sudden there were issues that compelled us to pay attention. And I came that night, and because there was something that the then outgoing supervisor had done, and I was upset about it, and I felt this need to say something. That was the first board meeting that I ever got up in front of people, and I said something, and yes, hopefully people are nicer to you tonight than I was at that meeting. But and that was the beginning. And for so many of us in this process of you putting yourself out there for our community, and some of the words which have been so eloquent in terms of just all about community and in community engagement. Some of the things that I was upset about at that time were, really not putting the community first. And I'll echo what Warren had said so much better than I ever could, that it's always been about the community for you. And in these 10 years, as I somehow have been involved in periods of time when there weren't issues, then we could take a step back. But whenever there were, you were always our leader. You always were this person through whom our voices could be heard. And we felt, and through you, we felt empowered. And it was amazing to me, like all of us could stand in the background knowing how inconvenient and uncomfortable it must be to constantly put yourself out here. And you constantly did that for us. And for so many of us that feel so much more connected to this community as a result of all that you've done over that decade. And we are forever better off for that. So thank you so much for that.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you. Okay. English is not my first language, and I didn't prepare a speech, so it's going to be an exciting journey. Okay, so some of you know that I'm an immigrant from China, a country under dictatorship. So I always watch local politics and election with a sense of wonder and admiration. Sometimes the disagreements could be sharp. Sometimes the criticism could be brutal. But believe me, the alternative is unthinkable. And it works because of practitioners like you to try to represent a voice, and because of your services as well. And it is important to represent a voice from the community among many. And let me quote someone, elections not for coronation, but for competition. Such competition make the representation responsible and accountable. In addition to this, there is a growing Asian immigrant community in Newcastle, and we sometimes feel relatively insular, and sometimes we feel that ignored. You are one of the pioneers who built the bridge and walk over the bridge and shake a few hands. So thank you so much. Sometimes it is not about grand gestures, but the little details, small things, like the local badminton program. We exchanged photographs talking about where to put in the badminton court, right?
So sorry, I didn't get it. I tried.
No, it's all right. But such care, attention, generate a lot of goodwill. In addition to that, you helped a local Chinese dance group to navigate the application process. So thank you. And also, when there are Asian festival celebrations, you wear the red color that people, which is a symbol for the festival, and say nice things to the community. So thank you so much. In the end, thank you so much for long service.
I think we have one more person.
I moved here in '96, and I was covering the campaign as deputy for campaign coverage for CBS News, and we were actually covering your re-election campaign, Mr. President. But in that same year, I asked if I could produce the 50th anniversary piece of It's a Wonderful Life. And one of the great sayings in that, at the very end, is, "No man is a failure as long as he has friends." You are the George Bailey of Chappaqua, Newcastle. And thank you so much for making us all your friends. And we're always going to be there for you. So God bless.
Lisa, you better take the floor before someone else goes.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Lisa Katz. Supervisor.
What's that name again?
I actually didn't prepare that much, but I'm so overwhelmed by all of you here tonight, and thank you so much for coming. When I first got into this 10 years ago, I was standing on this side of the podium facing the town board, and really just to kind of advocate on behalf of residents. And when it became time to run, I said, well, I can kind of put my money where my mouth is and actually have the opportunity to make a difference. And so I did, and I ran, and I did have the opportunity to use my voice. But what I didn't expect 10 years ago or 11 years ago was kind of how much this would infiltrate my soul and warm my heart. And kind of public service, and specifically Newcastle, has really just become part of my life. And it's even if we're not going anywhere, but even if like we eventually move and go far away, I don't know, my daughter's moving to LA, you never know. Newcastle is always going to be my home. And in 10 years, we've done a lot, right? So much has changed. The Jets have still not won a Super Bowl in all that time. But here in town, we've been able to do a lot. You know, I know people said we increased paving, we built a basketball court, we increased beautification. We adopted so many environmental initiatives, putting Newcastle on the forefront in New York State for really adopting great initiatives like our plastic bag ban. Wow, we made so many committees to work on everything from coyotes to the airport to really anything somebody was interested in. I always came from, somebody mentioned, kind of from a place of yes. Unless someone told me it's absolutely can't be done, I tried to figure out a way to do it. We repaved, we redid a lot of our fields. We saw DeChico's come in, and we saw Whole Foods come in. We made a lot of infrastructure improvements. We improved our hamlets. I think town is just such a warm, welcoming place now. We have so many rec opportunities for kids. We've done so much. And it was really hard for me to decide I wasn't going to run again because I love this town. And if anything, I feel like I'm its biggest cheerleader, and I will always be the cheerleader for this town. But sorry, honey, I don't know if I'm done with public service. It really has kind of become who I am and changed who I am. And I will always have my law firm, but I will not stop with public service, because I think it's so important that if you care about something, make sure to use your voice and make a difference. And I want to teach that to our kids. My daughter's here today. Use your voice and make a difference. never stop speaking out for what you think is right. And, you know, I know so many people have kind of thanked me recently for issues with anti-Semitism, or when we, you know, have rallies against gun violence, all different things. And I always say it's just not that hard to do the right thing. It takes a little bit of courage, but it's just not that hard if you can kind of put the politics aside and put kind of the voices that are yelling in all different directions aside. There's always kind of a point, kind of your guiding star of what you know is right. And that's what I've always strived to do. So before I go, I just want to thank our town staff. I couldn't have been here for 10 years without you. I think Jill Shapiro, we actually appointed you as town administrator. That was one of the first things we did when we came in. And I want to thank you, as well as all our amazing town staff and all of our elected officials, because while we serve on the Newcastle level, you serve a much greater good, and we couldn't do what we do or advocate for our town without all of you. All of our volunteers, I see so many people tonight who really chair our Holocaust and Human Rights Committee. I mean, so many committees here from our CREI, airport, CHAPAC, you know, without you and your tireless work on behalf of the town, I couldn't look as good as I do. And again, I just want to thank my family, my husband, Steve. Thank you for bearing with me on coming to every single town event, always. I try to go to every single one. Thank you to allowing me to go to the farmer's market where we're just going to pick up a pie. And 2.5 hours later, after everyone's kind of stopped us, we're on our way home. So I thank you. And I see my mom's here and my sister. Thank you for always being with me. And most important, thank you to all the residents. You know, the most important thing and the thing I'm most proud of is, again, that we listen to all voices. And the one thing I wanted to do in town was, whether you were red, blue, purple, or no color at all, I wanted to make sure that you felt represented and that you knew that your voice mattered, and that we would always listen to you with respect. Even when I didn't always agree, it didn't mean I didn't respect what you said. And like I've said many times, I am not right, you are not right, but together, if we put our minds together, we can always come up with something that's better than any of us could have imagined in the first place. So I just want to remind all of you, it's Hanukkah right now. I said it the other day, make sure you're always the light. No matter how dark the world gets, all of you, please be the light in this world. Always bring joy to those around you. And no matter where I go, I will always be Newcastle's biggest cheerleader. Thank you. And thank you to the town board that's continuing. I know you're going to continue this great legacy over the last decade. If you don't, I might come back. But I know that you will. And I want to thank you for all you've done and all the time that you've put in to the town. And just say thank you all for being here. Can we do like an Ellen and take like a big selfie of everybody? Can we do? I don't know if we can do that. Can we do that? Everybody smile.
Ellen, you're not.
I don't know if I can. All right, thank you all.
Wait.
And can we get a picture with the town board?
Wait, stand.
Oh, wait. I think we're getting.
Freeze.
Everybody
Come back. Oh, we're taking better than the selfie. Come on back in.
from the top, so you could get people in the back.
Okay.
Yes.
Ready? 3, 2. I'll take one more. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.